Have you ever questioned whether others around you are truly sincere by their kind words and smiles? Sometimes we hide our jealousy and lies because we believe we can identify those who are sincere with us, but that's not always the case in practice. Since basic jealousy and dishonesty can be easily concealed, those who harbor these emotions the most perilous. Picture yourself surrounded by friends and coworkers while commemorating a significant accomplishment at work. I'm congratulating you, but why do you think something might be amiss? Someone in the group is concealing their jealousy behind their congratulations. Despite their smiles, their eyes convey a different message. These subtle yet effective indicators can alert you to envy and dishonesty. In the video I'll be sharing today with you 10 practical techniques to spot jealousy and dishonesty. In some of these approaches have their roots in the profound teachings of Stoic philosophy, which, in addition to helping you, have endured for thousands of years. Manage your feelings and achieve mental calm, but they also provide you the means to recognize and manage. By using these guidelines, you can prevent people from acting dishonestly and with jealousy, will not only grow more resilient but also more knowledgeable in constructing and preserving connections. These techniques will shield you from unhealthy partnerships and assist. Before we begin the video, I have a more tranquil and contented life. You have a little task. Watch the entire video and make sure you don't miss any teachings, since each is essential to assisting you in maintaining your integrity and leading a complete and tranquil life. Kindly write a remark stating that I am ready to start the trip below, and notify me when you're prepared to go into the deep understanding of Stoic philosophy. Take note of their examine what they do. One of the fundamental tenets of Stoic philosophy is to not believe in words. Feel that a person's behavior is the best indicator of words can be used to manipulate their nature and purpose, either overtly or covertly. Lied about, but when you see other people pay, your actions show the truth. Observe how someone's words and deeds contradict each other, even if they seem nice, seem encouraging in their speech, but their behavior may reveal otherwise. For example, a coworker may acknowledge your accomplishments while covertly disparaging or critiquing your work. Behind your back, their actual nature is shown by their deeds rather than their words. Intentions. Ask yourself if you've ever had the impression that someone spoke only one thing. However, have you ever met someone who said they would help but never did? Carried out, these erratic behaviors are obvious indications of dishonesty and can stem from jealousy, as Marcus Aurelius once stated. Waste. Spend no more time debating what a good guy ought to be. Behavior is indisputable proof of a person's genuine character. Take into consideration an illustration of a friend who consistently promises to support you but then vanishes. When you encounter challenges, this conduct demonstrates deceit and unreliability. It's these behaviors that show a person's actual character more than any words could ever attempt. By looking at people's actions, when they believe that no one is looking or that there is nothing at risk, you will probably learn more about their actual character, which is essential for identifying genuine objectives from those concealed by flattering rhetoric. By emphasizing deeds over words that help us understand the depth of someone's. This exercise not only helps us understand our friends' actual personalities and associates, but Al also urges us to consider our own conduct. Our actions, not just our words, define our character. Say number 2. See how they react to your assess how they reacted to your achievement. Success in daily life. People's responses to your accomplishments show they're people who are truly envious, frequently show their feelings, and are unable to conceal them. Uncomfortable when they witness others succeeding, they could attempt to discredit your accomplishments with unfounded criticism, or falsely congratulating someone while feeling unhappy not only hurts connections, but also reveals the more sinister sides of their personalities. As they say, the only you should strive to be a better person than the one you were yesterday. Whoever genuinely values and encourages you will be pleased to see you advance and achieve success, because they recognize that every accomplishment you make is a step closer to your goal of self-improvement. On the other hand, people who dislike you will interpret your accomplishments as a danger, an indication that they are deficient or not working hard enough. Consider the last time you accomplished anything noteworthy. How did those around you respond, and how did? When people close to you reply, you'll be able to tell who is truly serious, and supportive people will share your happiness and celebrate your accomplishments based on their responses. Accomplishments, pleased for you due to your diligence in their feedback, is frequently positive, uplifting, and free of. However, those who are jealous or dishonest would attempt to minimize or hide your accomplishments, since they could start unfounded rumors and offer they may provide disparaging remarks, or even try to undermine your success by making subtle critiques or minimize your achievements, viewing your success as an anomaly and dismissing your endeavors. So how do you respond when you discover that someone in your life is envious and dishonest? Will you confront them or avoid them for your own safety? Keep in mind that the Stoic philosophy requires us to learn to let go of things beyond our control. Concentrate on growing yourself and establishing genuine connections rather than becoming enmeshed in a vicious cycle of jealousy, and we can determine someone's honesty by looking at more than just how they respond to your accomplishments, but also by the way they handle others with less status. Let's proceed to the third lesson. Take note of how they deal with people who can't help them. Engage with people who are incapable of helping them. Stoic philosophy tells us that everyone should be treated with care and respect, especially those a noble soul never despises those who are weaker or of inferior position. We should consider the authenticity of somebody's behavior when we see how they treat others of lower status. Thoughtful individuals treat everyone with respect, whether they are in positions of authority or are just regular people. Kindness. They recognize the intrinsic worth of every individual, regardless of their role. Whether speaking with a nation's prime minister or a service employee, they uphold an honest and courteous attitude. On the other hand, jealous and dishonest people frequently display showing compassion only when it is advantageous or when they are under supervision. They have a tendency to hate and treat people poorly who are of little use to them. Displaying cruelty and conceit if someone's behavior towards people's attitudes towards those in positions of authority are very different from those of those without. People that are cautious, jealous, and dishonest frequently show their actual selves when addressing the weak, such as a coworker at work, if they are consistently amiable and cordial with their superiors, yet domineering and disrespectful to service personnel or lower status individuals. This is an indication of dishonesty, and jealousy makes them value power and personal wealth over people. Such behaviors disclose their insecurities and reflect their genuine personality. Pettiness in their hearts when they watch how other people handle those of lesser standing also enables you to examine your own actions and how you. Treating those who are vulnerable by identifying and correcting any shortcomings in your behavior can assist you in being a true Stoic by always keeping in mind how others. Treating people with less status is the best way to see their character. Are you willing to watch and find such individuals? Use this technique in your day-to-day activities and observe the change. Number 4 makes a distinction between commendation and differentiate between flattery and praise. Excessive flattery is a blatant indication of dishonesty and jealousy, which many sincere compliments are always ignored by individuals. Beneficial, but you should use caution when they cross normal bounds, because what other people say isn't always true. about you that really counts. But what you consider, you shouldn't rely on other people's praise to determine your own value. Do such compliments really come from the heart, even when they don't? When you receive too much praise, ask yourself if it matches the accomplishments you have done. Is this individual trying to get anything from me? Excessive flattery is frequently an indication of dishonesty. The user can be attempting to conceal their jealousy, or take Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, took advantage of you, wrote in Meditations that it's not your circumstances. However, how you respond to it is what counts when you get compliments. Be fulfilling, but what if those remarks are given maliciously? Too much praise might depress weakened defenses and leave you open to manipulation. So rather than being taken aback by fake praise, learn to assess it. Unbiasedly adhere to your basic principles and avoid letting flattery cloud your judgment. For instance, you may observe in the workplace that some coworkers frequently compliment you but never provide assistance when you need it. In front of everyone, be amiable and give compliments, yet criticize or speak negatively about you behind your back. Acknowledging and handling excessive flattery shields you against phony, envious people, inspires you to lead a more genuine life and to constantly be aware of the intentions behind compliments, and keep telling yourself how valuable you are, have faith in yourself, and use Stoic wisdom to maintain your integrity while forming connections based on genuineness and respect for one another. Have you ever been in a circumstance when you were excessively flattered? How did you feel? How did you respond? And could you tell us about it? Your experiences are much appreciated in the comments section below. Number 5, monitor. Keep an eye on consistency. Consistently consider a person's actions and behavior when assessing them. Examine whether their words and deeds in various contexts indicate that something is simple to perform. Is challenging. Stoic philosophy urges us to evaluate whether people's actions corresponds with their declared opinions and statements throughout time. This is a useful method to identify envious and dishonest people when assessing someone. Examine their behavior in different contexts to see if they adhere to their beliefs and ideals regularly, or do they alter their mindsets and actions to fit their situations or individual objectives. A jealous and dishonest individual, frequently unable to keep this constancy even though they may seem amiable and genuine when interacting with those they must exploit, but turn icy and indicate that those individuals are no longer helpful to them. For example, someone may assert that be truthful and give everyone kudos, but then gripe about your success behind your back. You may observe odd motions when people offer praise. When you observe an irregularity, something occurs repeatedly rather than just once. Be patient and watch more to discover whether words and actions are inconsistent. Are a trend, it's important to determine if these are one-off occurrences or part of a recurrent pattern when their activities are consistent. If they exhibit a different face when you're not around, which is blatantly dishonest and jealous. Seeing how they genuinely treat others is another method to determine consistency. Someone will treat everyone equally and with respect, without prejudice. They won't disregard someone for their own sake and flatter someone else based on personal interests. Acquire consistency in behavior, which shows one's sincerity, and ask yourself, do you know any wives in your life who are acting dishonestly? Do others in your immediate vicinity regularly uphold their morals and ideals under all circumstances? Situations when the response is no, be caution, as these individuals can be hiding. We are halfway through our path when it comes to lying and envy. Thank you for being here today. Your encouragement is greatly appreciated as we bring the please like and share this video to help more people understand the true values of Stoic philosophy. should share these teachings with your friends and family in order to create a more contented and tranquil world. Always pay close attention and write a remark to let us know how energized and prepared to take on the following 5 challenges with Stoicism. Lesson 6. Take note of their demeanor when see how they respond to criticism. Condemned, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, once stated that if someone can demonstrate to me that my beliefs or actions are incorrect, I will gladly change, since I'm looking for the truth, which has never hurt anyone. It's the someone who persists in their ignorance and self-deception who is. This quotation highlights that genuinely intelligent and sincere people are usually receptive to helpful criticism, since their truth and self-improvement are the ultimate goals when a Stoic person is criticized. Considers it a chance to better themselves rather than a danger to their self-esteem, on the other hand, is frequently badly impacted by jealous and dishonest people, and they often respond harshly to criticism by becoming defensive. Correcting others or even trying to discredit the critic is a fear-based behavior of revealing their actual character or a refusal to acknowledge their shortcomings. Have you ever seen when a coworker or acquaintance receives criticism, they may become defensive or furious, which could indicate they are lacking confidence and concealing insecurities. Let's look at a good and genuine leader will pay attention to and effectively address criticism from workers, realizing that this fosters their personal development and also favorable and productive workplace, as opposed to an untruthful and a jealous boss may disregard or even discipline staff members who voice criticism of them. A tense and fearful environment. Ask yourself, when was the last time? When you received criticism, how did you respond? Were you receptive to it? Did you quickly attempt to defend and deny what was said, or did you give it some thought? Before we go on to lesson number, your response can reveal information about you and others around you. 7. I have a question for you. Do you know anyone who regularly judges and evaluates others? If so, it may be time to reconsider. How do you feel about them? Let's find out in lesson number. Pay close attention to number 7. Pay close attention to inadvertent comparisons. In our daily lives, we frequently come into unconscious comparisons, similarities. These comparisons are more than just innocuous comments. They may indicate covert jealousy, and Stoicism's definition of dishonesty states that hearing and comprehending these parallels is one efficient method for identifying insincerity and jealousy. When someone compares you to others without realizing it, they may disclose these comparisons, which are more about them than about you, frequently result from a location of envy and insecurity, such as if a co-worker continuously contrasts your accomplishments with those of others, which might mean that they feel. Those that constantly compare you to others may be attempting to intimidate you by your advancement, reduce your worth, causing you to feel unworthy and unworthy. This conduct frequently serves as a cover for their fears and fosters an illusion of superiority. Consider the details situation where you reach a major milestone at work, and rather than a co-worker congratulates you, saying, "That's great, but I believe John is still better," this isn't merely a harmless analogy, but an indication of jealousy. Your co-worker may be feeling jealous of your accomplishments and is attempting to minimize it by listening to unintentional comparisons. Aids in determining who truly stands by you. Good friends don't feel the must evaluate you against others in order to justify their respect or love, for they value you for who you are rather than how you compare to others. Otherwise, consider who in your life frequently causes unconsciousness. When you hear disparaging comparisons, should you actually believe them? How do you think Stoic philosophy suggests we interpret comparisons? As outside variables that are out of our control, This unique differentiation enables us to: do you support the idea that we should preserve our inner peace? Viewpoint: if so, enjoy the video. If not, comment 0 so that we can talk about it and see if there's more below the surface. Number 8. Take note of their observe how they respond to their own setbacks. Responses to one's own shortcomings. Stoicism teaches that is not just an indicator of maturity and patience, but also a direct representation of a person's genuine intentions and character are genuinely powerful and honest. People accept failure with humility and an openness to growing from their errors. They recognize that failure is a natural part of life, and it offers chances for development and self-improvement without placing blame on others or attempt to conceal their shortcomings. Rather, they acknowledge and work to. You can trust and admire these individuals, yet they can also be envious and dishonest. People respond to failure in very different ways, and they frequently look for outside justifications for their shortcomings that place the blame on other people or events. Instead of taking responsibility for their faults, they seek to cover up and justify their behavior. Have you ever encountered people who fabricate stories or disparage others in order to boost their egos? Someone who constantly places the blame for problems on others? If so, have you thought about that? This could be an indication of envy and dishonesty. To better understand, keep an eye out for these indicators. Do they acknowledge their errors when they fail? Do they avoid accountability and blame, or are they open to learning and changing? Others that are honest will not be afraid to own up to their errors and work towards improvement, but a dishonest individual would always shield their pride and stay away from the truth. Daku Ikada once highlighted that the essence of a person is disclosed during the most difficult circumstances. This quote aptly captures the essence of Stoic philosophy. Reminds us that an individual's response to failure reveals a lot about a person, so pay close attention. Don't let flimsy statements or the way those around you handle their failures deceive you. Actions. Have you gone through anything like what I've described? If so, kindly share. Please enjoy the video and leave a comment below with your insightful experiences. Hear from you. Number 9. And assess their sharing. Consider how they disseminate personal data. Personal information. According to Marcus Aurelius, the soul is able to absorb the hues of. It is believed that a person's information-sharing style not only reflects their inner monologue, but also vividly depicts their authenticity or. Stoic philosophy urges us to think on how someone speaks about a real individual will discuss their triumphs and setbacks with humility, highlighting the lessons from their experiences. On the other hand, a dishonest people frequently overstate or even make up their accomplishments in order to control and impress others. We should consider whether this individual seems. Do they focus on unimportant aspects because they are too proud of their achievements? Enhance their trustworthiness while also assessing how they. It is essential that people talk about their shortcomings. A sincere individual will not be reluctant to. Unlike a dishonest person, they own up to their mistakes and share what they've learnt from them. Prefers to avoid talking about failures, or when they do, places the blame on other people's circumstances or outside influences rather than accepting accountability. This is an obvious indication of insincerity, and inner conflict are common among envious people. Private knowledge about others that could be revealed by those with malicious purpose, entrusted to them, or even embellish and misrepresent the facts in order to. When someone disseminates inaccurate or unfavorable information, they are attempting to influence other people's opinions and sow disarray that mirrors their own insecurities and inadequacies in casual conversation. Pay attention to these indicators. Does the individual talk a lot? Do they frequently evaluate oneself against others in an attempt to improve their personal status? These comments go beyond just pettiness. Plans, but also displays of resentment and a perverted soul. As we grow more adept at spotting these indicators, it will be, if something causes you to halt, it's simpler for us to shield our souls from harmful influences. And remember, don't be afraid to ask questions. This brings us to the last. Listen to your inner voice in lesson number 10. Have you ever experienced this? Pay attention to your inner voice. Circumstance where a co-worker of yours consistently seems amiable and willing to assistance, but you always feel uneasy with them. If the solution? Yes, pause and pay attention to your inner guidance system. This may indicate that your intuition is alerting you to dishonesty or envy, because consider instances when you were uncomfortable or skeptical of someone. Without a specific explanation, your instinct is working. The sixth sense, or instincts, are essential for shielding you from possible dangers. When you sense something is off, pause and consider. Think about the circumstances. Does this individual constantly attempt to outdo you? Do they frequently give? Sometimes these little gestures can be interpreted as dishonest compliments, might be a sign of dishonesty and envy. One thing to consider is, if the solution is in their behavior, why do I feel uneasy around them? Inconsistent words and actions could be a red flag from your instincts. Take into account a scenario in which a co-worker is always kind and worried about you, but you nonetheless feel, when you're uncomfortable around them, pay attention to the little things you could have missed. Maybe they constantly make subtle comments about other people and compare themselves to you. Failures can have an underlying meaning, even if they don't directly target you. Competition, in this instance, your gut is warning you of envy and deception. Your inner voice is a useful weapon that should never be undervalued. You can tell the difference between folks who are truly good and those who are just acting that way. Nevertheless, even while your inner voice is crucial, don't disregard the voice of rationalize, both to find a middle ground and make conclusions after careful consideration. Taking into account your instincts to spot jealousy and final results. Although lying is difficult, it's an essential ability to safeguard ourselves and our genuine principles in life. Envious and dishonest individuals can be anything from intimate partnerships to regular social encounters. They may appear to be close friends on the outside, but they are secretly so. The Stoic concept of uncertainty and conflict leads us to live sensibly and peacefully by using Stoic principles, which allow us to recognize and eradicate bad aspects of our lives. Keep in mind that life is too valuable to be squandered on individuals who don't genuinely assist you with the strategies we've covered today. To identify and stay away from people who are jealous and deceit. You deserve to have a happy, peaceful, and optimistic existence. Relationships. I appreciate you watching this video. If you find these techniques helpful, please spread the word to friends and family to help create an improved life together. Remember to hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on our more insightful stuff. Set a goal for yourself too. After implementing at least one of these tactics in your day-to-day activities, return here and leave a remark saying, "I did it," expressing how you feel about the improvements in your life. Allow the Stoic philosophy to be your guide. I'm always here to listen and contribute. Companionship that aids in your quest for strength and serenity in life.